When people think of sexual violence, they tend to picture male-on-female assault. But this is not always the case. Women are capable of committing sexual assault and harassment. Essex University student Harry Murphy bravely came to speak to me about his experience of sexual harassment from a male perspective, as well as how satisfied he was with how the university handled his case. Would you mind telling me what led to this series of events?
So basically me and this girl was just chatting, we got a bit close, started seeing each other a bit, and then, I mean, from there it was completely fine, and then I didn't really see anything wrong, nothing was happening, nothing to like cause any concern, and then one night she went out, and then I got a call when I was sleeping, and it was this, like, one of her exes, and he's from the area, and he was like calling me up, threatening me, saying he was gonna come around my house and do whatever, and I was like, right, so they took me by shock, so I didn't really know what to do, so I just hung up and whatever, didn't think anything of it, and then we do the same social. Basically, a couple people from there were saying to me, oh, what's happened between you and this girl? And I was like, well, what do you mean? They said, oh, well, she's been going around telling people you've been hitting her. And at that point, I was like, this is bad. Like, she's lying, something needs to be done, because that could like really impact my like future. So I went to SU, it's like SU Advice, and I wrote a complaint saying, look, this is what's happened. They said, have you got any proof? I said no, and they said, best thing to do is just probably have it on file. So if something does happen in the future, you can refer back to it. And I was like, okay, we've done that, and then left it. Then, obviously I didn't speak to her again, but obviously I'm going out on nights out in like Sub-Zero and that, and in town. And I've been seeing her, and a few times she's been like barging me, throwing drinks over me, like, and was like hitting me and kicking me one night. So it was like, I spoke to her mum, and I said, right, like, what do I do? Because I literally cannot do anything. I don't really have any friends at the university where they can like sort of turn to. So I went to SU sort of like help. I looked up online and was like, okay, this is what I do.
What did they advise for you to do?
So when I spoke to them, I told them my story, and initially she said to me, the best thing to do is probably try and avoid her or write her a letter. And I was like, at that point, I'd done a bit of research, and I realised that you can file a formal complaint within the university against her. So I was like, okay, well, is there anywhere that I can like file a formal complaint against her? And she said, well, yeah, you can do, but I would advise you not to do that. I said, oh, well, why? And then she told me that the both of you would have to sort of, as if it was like a court situation, like put your case against university, like, I don't know, like board of members or something like that. And she said there's like a high probability that both of you will get removed from the university. And I was just thinking, how I'm the victim here, but yet I'm not supposed, they advised me not to go down that route just because I might get in trouble as well. And then she also advised me that because obviously like she's been assaulting me when I'm out, she said, because it's not just on campus, she said you can go to the police. And I said, oh, okay. And then she said, if you go to police, the university will not be involved at all. And I said, right, okay, so pointless me going to the police then. And she said, well, the university just won't be involved.
What else do you think could have been done to help you in that case? Like, were you satisfied with the way they've handled it?
I wasn't satisfied at all. Initially I thought, look, if the roles were reversed, and I said this to the woman, I said, if I was a girl and a guy was like assaulting me, I feel like a lot more would have been done. And obviously she said, no, it's not like that. And I was like, that's just how I feel. I'm not really sure specifically what they could do, but I just feel like there's a duty of care at the university. There's so many students here away from home, and they just don't look after us personally. That's what I feel. I don't know, maybe just like, even just like a checkup to see what I've done or something like that. I don't know.
And as a male student at this university, do you think there is enough targeted male help? Like, for example, we have so many officers, like women's officers, LGBTQ, trans officer, yet there seems to still be no men's officer for any man to go talk to.
Yeah, I don't feel like there is. I feel like recently there's been a lot of concern about like male mental health. I just don't think there's like a lot of policies or anything sort of acts targeted to help that at the university. Like you said, there's a lot of LBGT and all that sort of thing. And I feel like, don't get me wrong, they're obviously trying to promote something good there, but I just feel like male students are just being sort of left by the wayside.
And do you think, as a student here at the university, Essex is as a whole successful at combating sexual harassment and assault in your case and others that you've heard of?
My case, definitely not. I've heard of other students that have experienced like sexual assault, but they've just not bothered reporting it just because they realise that nothing's just going to be done. And for that to happen, I think it's just like shocking. I think for people to not even come forward or even speak to someone about it is just ridiculous. I just don't think anything's being done personally.
After speaking to Harry and other students like him, I think it's time that the male students at Essex University get a voice. I spoke to the women's officer, Molly Purcell, about whether she thinks that there should be a men's officer.
I'm sure Essex and every other university and institution in the country would be like, no, we're not gender biased, everybody has the same opportunities and experiences here and you're safe. But that's not always the case. And I think even if men do experience sexual harassment, which they obviously do, it is still a big patriarchal structural problem, which is what the officers are kind of there to tackle. So, there's women's officer, there's LGBT officer, disabilities, people that maybe have struggled in terms of equality in the past. So that's kind of why they're there, but I do see where you're coming from. There does need to be kind of a more overall sort of tackle in the problem itself, I think.